about anything that has a cap to it, then we're not necessarily um getting with this entire program on what we're doing. But we should. The goal is to help us afford our lifestyle, not continue to live at the same lifestyle that we currently are. And that's based off of what the salary somebody gave us.
And you believe that we all can have a lifestyle that we all desire, no matter the expense.
I feel like we all should have an investor mindset. We all should know my first job as an investor. I'm a civil servant. I invest my time and energy into my people, and I invest my capital into my people. And like I said, I pull this civil servant thing from the Constitution, and I feel like we just have to. I feel like that's the job of every Garveyite. If we had an economy, our job as civil servants.
Yeah,
Civil servants invest their time, energy, and their capital into the development of our people.
I'm with you I follow Constitution as well. The civil service department, to my knowledge, was pretty much like a staffing agency.
Right.
That's where all of our employees would come through that department.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going. I don't want to dominate anyone else. Have any questions, comments so far? Everybody on board?
I'm following. I guess I had a question or a thought. So like President John said, I'm following that the first step is to acquire capital through getting credit ready and building trust, and that will give the UNIA the resources it would need to, I guess, begin investing in different things, real estate, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm following that. To President John's points about folks not necessarily being able to get credit ready for different reasons. I know that, a big portion of our people can't get credit ready because they're suffering from injustices in housing and food and employment. And so I'm guessing this strategy is supposed to begin with folks who um, have some level of privilege, to where they're not suffering from those injustices as much and can begin doing a strategy of saving up their money or doing the work that's necessary to get credit ready. And I'll speak
Well,
from. Oh, go ahead.
well, I only jumped in because I don't understand how a person is suffering injustice can stop them from getting credit ready. My main focus was to find something that was free, and Brother Malik has brought it to us. This Operation Hope is a free credit builder service. Only thing it's going to take for us to do is go up there. Like I said, the location. I'm even give you the location. The brother has an office in which is in Atlanta, Stone Mountain, but it's not too much of a drive. So then it's anything that I don't think that there's an excuse for anyone to not get credit ready. I don't think that there's any oppression or infliction that should be able to stop us now that we have a free tool that's out there.
So one area that I work in terms of in studying in terms of housing is the exploitative nature of renting.
Uh-huh.
Many Americans that rent, like myself, and who make less, who are below the poverty line or make below that, like myself, live in situations where they live in exploitative, low income housing or have abusive landlords. And of course, this isn't all Black people. It's a good chunk of us, but it's very realistic and it's, I mean, The Color of Law is a prominent book that talks about this, but the many injustices that prevent people from accessing capital to get properties. But for renting, landlords can increase rent arbitrarily. There are things that break in the home, illnesses that occur in the home because of poor conditions that prevent people, that make people need to pay for certain things, that should be addressed by their landlord, that prevents them from using their money for bills and other things of that nature. So I don't want to go into too many details because there are so many examples.
So,
But there are real systems of oppression going on right now that are preventing the majority of our people from using their capital as they see fit.
so
That doesn't go against their plan, but that does mean it has to focus on from my understanding, uh, it has to focus on a certain group of people who can begin to build credit now because they have some level of privilege in this system.
So I can
Can I chime in?
Yes, please.
So I understand the point, but the whole thing that we're trying to do, obviously there is injustice, there is a whole bunch of trickery, and I mean, it's amazing and mind-boggling all the different tactics and schemes that are used out there. But I think the whole idea of our program is to help to level the playing field so that no matter who you are, where you're coming from, what the situation is, that you may not be able to, to start on a big scale as somebody with a bigger pocket, but you can start at some scale. You can start to get yourself in a better situation credit wise. And I just think we all have to start from where we are. As long as there is the mindset that that can happen, and as long as the mindset and willingness for these individuals, then I mean, if somebody doesn't have the mindset, is not willing to try, then there's only so much we can do. But if somebody, no, oh man, my credit is way down here and this and that, and but I think if they have the mindset and willingness, I think it's I mean, I was watching a commercial the other day and was showing somebody who had a 8 8 credit score. And it's like funny because I've never heard of a credit score. It was a stupid commercial, but I'm just saying, even if the person has an 8 credit score and has the mindset and the willingness to improve that scenario, our job is to help to level the playing field. So no matter where there's, I just has to be a willingness and a belief that things can change for the better. And if there are places out there that'll help you for free, free is free. It don't matter where you're starting. So definitely. So that's kind of what I think. But there's always going to be forces, and the ones of us who know better and know that what the system is all about, we have to, move ahead. And then as we move along, we have to bring, you know, bring other folks along with us. But it's not, we can't exclude anybody who wants it, but we can't wait on those who are not ready.
Thank you, Sister Diane. And I'm gonna respond to you too, Brother Langston. But President John, you got your hand up. I'll respond after you, President John.
That all makes sense to me, by the way. That I'm following. I feel like my point has been addressed.
Yeah, I would have thought we would have said yes to the question, and partially how Sister Diane explained it. It is a partial yes. In the beginning, there's only going to be certain people that are either available or open to the opportunity, and we'll work with those individuals, show proof of success, and then come back to the larger community. That would be my thoughts.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. There's an ear for every voice, and I always can't be for everybody. But I would just, my response was because I feel like everything starts with mindset, and Brother Langston, as a new member, I want to make sure you have a strong mindset. And there's two quotes that your question made me think about, and the first one was, "Without confidence, we're twice defeated, and what man has done, man can do." Now, the only reason when I say that, yes, some people won't be able to start, um, but I feel like the mindset it has been one of the tools that helps a person not get started. And I feel like that quote, "Without confidence, we're twice defeated," is there because most people don't start because they aren't confident. And I would say this system is built to take our confidence away. And now my quote is, "I'm confident because of who my confidence is in." And I believe that we all have the skills to do anything, but I'm get to the practical what we can do. When it comes to the landlord situation, I think like whenever you want to solve a problem, you gotta get to the root of it. And I feel like the root of the problem is for us not being owners. And the goal of helping us become owners by first fixing our credit will help us get to a long-term solution of where we are able to house our people and make them have alternatives to the predatory lending practices. So our job is to have the confidence enough to build the systems that will help our people get away from those systems. And therefore, we won't even have to complain about them, those systems, because our people aren't involved in them. But we have to continue to build it up, first starting with those, like President Diane said, those who are willing and ready. But we are starting with those who are willing and ready. And the goal is to build a worldwide commercial industrial infrastructure, one step at a time. And the first step is to get capital. Second step is to get the skills that we can now use to create finances, create revenue. So we're going to talk about each person having to learn how to do that. But that's definitely a step for us to be able to create revenue. The amount of revenue, to answer President John's question as well, I believe that every person can have access to the quality like that they deserve if they learn those two things: how to use their skills to create revenue, and how to access the capital they need to market their skills. That's one of the major things capital is used for. Any other questions, comments? I hope that was just a little extra for you, Brother Langston.
No, if that all makes sense to me.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? I did finally figure out how to get to the page. I'm about to pull it back up. But I like when we go on their website, one of the first things to say, because this is a tool that I think that can help us. But it says how to get started. Know everything about personal business finances. We are here to help. I love it. So we don't have to worry about having the confidence that we know it all. They're here to help us out. These are experts. Operation Hope has a series of focuses to support your pathway to successful managing your money and owning a home. Just right there. I hope that all of us can come here and we see a pathway to home ownership and even more asset ownership through starting a business. And that's what I hope our main job is, to see ourselves 3 years from now, believing that we have the tools available to get to. Now is where you're going to set your goals at. So it's our job now to repurpose our goals, not based on the job you're working, but based on your ability to use these resources to get your credit right, to own that home, and to get to a point to hopefully where you can eventually give back to others. That should be your mindset and your goal, and hopefully we're trying to create a pathway to there. So, like I said, the man's name is Reginald Clark. I want us all to, I'm gonna bring him on, but you guys can go out, reach out to him right now, and start signing up. You can go on his website and sign up. They'll do a one-on-one with each and every one of us, so that way we all can have a pathway to, like I said, they'll help you own the home. They'll help you start a business, and then hopefully all the businesses we start, we'll bring them back to this table. And I feel like hopefully we all don't see an excuse and can see a clear path now. So I'll open the floor. Any other questions?
I had a question about the next step. So, folks work with Operation Hope, get their credit score to 720, get in a position where they acquire capital. I guess they ask the bank for, I don't know what that looks like, but they acquire that loan somehow, or that capital somehow.
Right.
And they now have the capital. So what's the next step? And that's my next question.
That capital, I would suggest everybody to use that capital to set up your infrastructure, and that infrastructure will be your family trust and your family bank. And we'll talk about how to do that at that time. And that family bank can lend money to the endeavors of the UNIA. I feel like it's the main goal for us all to be lenders and not borrowers. So our main job is to first be able to lend money to get a return. The second way is and the goal. I'm sorry, not the second step, but the goal eventually is to get to a point where we're all philanthropists and be able to give money away through our investments. So how that looks more practically is that when you have that family bank, we should have investments like a property that we have already identified we're going to come with and say, hey, this property, this, we need X amount of dollars in this. You're able to go leverage that capital you got from the bank and put it into that deal. Hey, we trying to build a plane now. Hey, I want to put this money in that. And we should be transparent enough to show you exactly the estimated dividends that you're going to be able to get back. So for like an investor, is one of the number one jobs that we all should have. That's just my opinion.
So that's making sense to me. I guess I'm still the question I still have is about us getting the initial money, I guess, from a Wells Fargo or a Truist. Is that initial money that we take out from the bank a loan?
Yes. So the goal that we can do is to identify assets that's going to outperform the interest or the cost of acquiring that money. That's going to be what we have to really get really skilled at doing. That's what we will be really skilled at doing. And those assets are real estate or business. To be next step going forward, if you one of the things that we talked about was I got another next step is bizbuysell.com. I'm gonna go ahead and just go give you the next step so you can have a transparent, clear vision. So one of the things that I'm going to be suggesting to y'all going forward as you get that money is to get the money and come right here to this website right here, where you can go and buy. We can go and buy cash flowing businesses. So these businesses are already cash flowing. The reason we wanted you to do that so you can go ahead and immediately start servicing the debt. You can immediately start meeting those monthly payments that you have to get back. So yes, this is answering your question, but this is also telling you the why we're not really worried about the interest, even though we were previously, we talked about it. Garvey has an opinion about it, but we believe that we can outperform any interest. So, I believe that this is the best way for us to get money rather than spending our time and energy working for a white man or another black man who's not giving back to our cause. Just go get it from the bank, and then it'll grow faster. And we can get more faster by doing it this way, and that's the reason why I'm okay with the interest.
And Brother Macy's, I'm glad you mentioned that. So just so me and you and other students of African philosophy are clear, Mr. Garvey does have a position on borrowing money and paying interest.
Yes.
All right. We ain't got to get too deep, but
yes. So I'm aware. I am aware, and I am saying, So yes, I do understand that I'm directly going against that principle, but those are my reasons why. Because I believe that we can outperform at that in this day and age. For those reasons. It's the fastest way we can get the money that we need, the fastest way we can grow, and that we can outperform it.
It's risky, but go ahead.
I guess to your point, President John, to both of your points, is the goal then, because when I think about what you just said, that makes sense, Brother Amacius. We pay back the interest, then we finish our relationship with the bank, and we still own the asset that is generating revenue, right?
Yes. We're done with them once we pay them off. So hopefully that our target market, our target revenue return would be at least 7 times the cost of getting the money. That's what we want to target. Some people say 4 is okay enough, but I don't think it's okay enough for us. I think we need to have a bigger asset margin, but our goal is to have a margin. 4 times, but I think 7 times, and you're done with the bank, like you said, we're done with that bank. We're like, this.
And Brother Macy, just because I like what Brother Langston mentioned, the phrase, the asset that's bringing in revenue.
Yes, sir.
We don't have any. That's pretty general as far as what we would pursue.
No, that's why I'm the top two. Like I said, that biz buy sell is one of the ones that I suggest as one of the first steps, and then real estate, and then of course we've already talked about stock market, but biz buy sell. So the second step I talked about us getting our skills, learning skills. So if Brother Langston says I'm passionate about this, blah 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 blah, whatever he's passionate about, I want to start business. It's my suggestion that we go purchase a business that already exists, so that only because the two sweet spots to be able to go to the bank and get whatever you want is to have a 720, but the second one is to have a business that's 3 years old. If your business is 1 year old, you cannot go to the bank and go and get any money. So my suggestion is to go to biz buy sell, and I think Brother Maliki brought it up first, actually. But biz buy sell, you can go in there and buy business that's already cash flowing. And that's the second reason that we want to do that is because we can immediately start paying into the asset and not have to worry about the growth of a business, but the business being already existing. So this will be the first thing, the first asset that I will tell it everybody should go to as we go and get the money that we need.
Is there any associated debt with purchasing these businesses?
Now they do have an opportunity where you can finance the purchase of a business, and you can come to this website and you can do that. You can do it from this website as well. So that will be a debt if you do it that way. So and I like that way because you don't have to pay a whole lot of money up front. So there are ways that you can do that.
No, I was saying like
but no,
all of these businesses positive? Is there any debt associated? Like if we buy the business, do we assume their debt as well?
It is always our job to do due diligence on that part, because that can be a possibility.
Okay.
But it's our job to do due diligence on every business that we are thinking about purchasing.
Okay.
Because yes, that's possible.
I just want to make sure we're aware.
So, and like I said, our goal is to build a commercial industrial infrastructure. So a lot of the businesses that we need in our infrastructure are already built. We just got to go in and swallow them up and bring them over here. From cars to anything we could think of, the businesses already out there probably for sale. But we're not gonna forget about real estate. Not gonna forget about stocks as well. But now we're going to forget about those.
Just so we clear, and like I said, I'm on board. I'm with you. I'm following you. But this is counter to course of African philosophy.
The interest part?
Well, no. I mean, we talked about a couple things, but now I'm thinking from a start small standpoint.
The first starts. A lot of people. I mean, I think that could be a misconstrued concept. The reason being, so when I think a lot of people, when they talk about start small, they think start with a small endeavor, but most people can't start with a small step. And I think what I'm focusing on is starting with a small step, and that small step right now is for everybody to get their credit right, who was within the organization. That's a very, very, very small step. What Garvey did was of a doll factory. Garvey had a steamship company. Mm-hmm. Garvey had big endeavors, right? Mm-hmm. Big endeavors. He started small towards big endeavors. And that's my opinion of that, of what he's saying there. We don't know how to do small steps. And I think that's why we can't grow. Not small endeavors. That's just my interpretation.
I'm with you, but I'll challenge that because I mean we're gonna go through the course again this September coming up. But there was Mr. Garvey spent quite a bit of time, almost a whole page, going through basically that process. And he was saying, you start with a nickel, you buy something, you sell it for 10 cents, you use a little bit to eat. You come back the next day and you duplicate that process. So he in my opinion, he was descriptive on an example of starting small. And I would argue it's from a financial standpoint. But we can go back and forth, and I'm gonna stay on it, and I want you to stay on what you're focused on. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, we talk about it. Talk about it more.
Me, I feel like he had big endeavors himself. I feel like we have to just start with small steps, and I feel like this is a very small step. And I feel like if we execute this small step, it will position us. Those endeavors that we think are big will become small. We think they're small right now, but for a lot of people, what we're talking about is very, very, very small potatoes for a lot of people. But I think that it's our mindset that think this is bigger than what it is. But I feel like we just need to start right now with Operation Hope. It's one step here.
I got you. And credit. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have one more question. I think it's my last. I'm with you as well on the credit step being a small, good one. The thing I had a question about is what you said, that it's once we get capital, it's better. And this is going to President John's starting small point, I guess. You were saying that once we get capital and are in the position of investor, it's better for us to buy up existing businesses rather than build our own. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that was mainly the argument of having a 3-year history.
Yes, there it was. Yep.
Okay.
It was mainly tied to that.
Okay.
Because the only reason I wanted to clarify that, and because you can also, you don't have to come here to buy a 3-year business. What we can also do is go directly to the Secretary of State and purchase a business that has been inactive for a way cheaper cost. It just doesn't have the operating cash flow, but that will still execute that step. So that's an alternative method as well, to take smaller amount of money and go to the Secretary of State and buy a 3-year business and get it reactivated. But we'll talk about that.
That don't make sense to me. My question isn't really about that. The point that I was getting to is, I think starting with credit is good. I guess as we advance and get towards getting capital and getting assets, I guess, like you were saying earlier, hopefully we also find folks and opportunities who are looking to start businesses that employ Black people or create businesses that address a critical need in the Black community. But in addition to, strategizing for acquiring the capital and the assets as we advance, because we got to advance, that all makes sense. I hope there's also, and I'm a part of that, I have plans for this as well, since that's my area of passion, but we find more things to invest in that are committed to addressing, these systems. But that sounds like a good plan to me, as long as we're working towards that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And just to talk about growing a little bit more, and kind of put a visual on where I think we should grow. I think that one of our second greatest investments will be in people. One of the main reasons that I want us to get our credit right, so that we can help other people get their credit right. And the number one business in the world is the lending business. We got to be honest about it. The banks make the most money. So if we can get to a position to where we can assist our people with getting money, where we basically, then we can get some of those little small returns, and that could come back to our overall endeavor as well. So investing in people, investing in their endeavors, helping other people become CEOs of these companies that we buy, I think we will also get some good returns from those assistances as well. So, if it's not clear, I can make it more detailed. But I think I want to be not too, but kind of vague, because that's down the line what I'm talking about. But I'll just the point of us growing I think what starts with us growing our numbers still, that's bringing it back to our number one business, which is membership. So the goal of all of this is to be able to invest in people so we can grow our membership. So eventually we can get to the point to where we don't need capital to produce stuff because we have so many people who know how to do it, and we are the rawest resource is each other. So it's another rabbit hole, but just wanted to kind of put some context on and hopefully see a path for the future for where this is going. Any questions or comments? I would love to hear some people we haven't heard from.
We're on the right. I think we're on the right track.
Okay. Brother Malik, you know, I just value your voice so much, but
What's up, brother?
Dr. Cooley, Brother Eric, anybody just some feedback from people we haven't heard from?
No, you're on the right track.
Appreciate you, Brother Malik. All right.
This is Reverend Lee. How are you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Welcome.
everything that you all are discussing is really good. It sounds great. It's a great goal and everything. I would be with it too. I would just think about just mapping it all out from the nation, the ground up, what the vision is, what the plan is, even starting with hope. And if there's a group of us that want to get involved with it, kind of obtain the data base for, like we need to know who's in it, what steps they have achieved, when it's achieved as far as credit, so that if we're moving as a unit, we can move at the same time. Or if it's just more on an individual level, it's good to know as well. So when it's time to give back to the organization itself, that can be proposed to people individually. So it sounds great, just take some mapping out, and some reporting or keeping tabs on where everybody is at the time, because everybody may be starting on different levels for sure, monetarily. So you just want to keep record of where everybody is so we know when to move or when the right time is to buy whatever we want to buy or get into. And I'm thinking about other things that were said with regards to investing. But I can share more later. But I do work in that space too.
I apologize. I got kicked out. I missed the last thing that you said. If you don't mind, which space do you work in?
The financial space.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's perfect.
Yeah,
What do you do?
and taxes as well. I'm a licensed broker, and I've been doing taxes for a while, for close to a decade now. So, it's a lot that goes into what you said, but you hit on a lot of things that are true and that you will need to do, especially if you want to deal with the bank. I'm not a fan of banks, like you all are not. And there are alternative ways to get yourself funded without a bank. So again, I would talk to leadership about that, because there's some things that you'd have to see and look at to determine if it's something, that you want to bring back to the other people or leaders. But you're definitely on the right track with the family bank and with establishing a trust. And as you grow and we get more involved in community, the community can even establish a land trust and build on that.
Yes.
So it's a lot to do that you can do. but it does take some strategic mapping. And I love the word strategic because in that, you can find other ways to get things done at a good pace and without using some of the traditional things that are out there now. That's it for now.
Yes, thank you so much. As far as having
excuse,
go ahead, Sister Diane.
I was gonna ask, forgive me, who's the young lady that just spoke?
Reverly, my name is Reverly, like Beverly or Red.
Okay.
Red, yeah.
Is it okay if I get your number from Brother John
Sure, that's fine.
for an offline conversation? But yeah, you said some amazing things, so that's great.
Brother John, can you make me the co-host again? I got kicked out. No, Sister Reverend, you talked about being able to track and being able to group us and being able to see what other people are doing as well.
Yes.
So one of the things I'm working on is an infrastructure platform for us to be able to come together. I wanted to share that with you all as well. It's called the Universal Investors Network. So basically, the goal is to build a place where we all can come together. We can place our what we are investing in here, and then also we can have resources and tools for us to be able to, and classes, but to come right here and be able to access. And so basically, our goal is to have it where families can know families and invest in families together. So the reason that the focus is we calling it a family bank because we want to see ourselves as a family driven economy who do things how families do it. Because like I said, for me, it all starts with mindset. I feel like one of the major mindsets is for us to operate and think of ourselves as all one big family. So this website is designed to bring the families together who are like-minded individuals. So I did change it to a 30-day free trial for those that we were talking previous when I showed the previous. We talked about that. So I wanted to show that for others.
Okay, that's great. But you do know there is a real family bank, right?
Yeah, yes. We're talking about building real family banks, helping each person have their family bank. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there is a
Yes, ma'am.
strategy. It's real.
Yes, ma'am.
On maybe insurance vehicles, but it has to be the right one. Not every vehicle can do it.
Whole life cash value. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a little different than that too.
Yes.
But yeah, it is true. Cash value. You're right.
Yes, ma'am. So and that's one thing that we're going to talk about later is how that trust will own that policy and how that policy can be leveraged as net worth and as well. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about that and present that to the group as well.
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. We tracking to get there. Yes, ma'am.
I want to get there with you because I do believe in giving back and I want to see our culture successful. So I'm right there with you.
All right. Well, I'm definitely happy. I hope everybody definitely checks out that link. So I'm going to bring the brother on the call next week and have them talk more about the resources they offer. But like I said, right in Stone Mountain, everybody can go check them out and set up a meeting with them by going through the website or going straight there. So if anybody doesn't have any other questions or concerns, I'm going to yield the floor back to President John. If you want to have any last words, once we move to close.
I mean, you know, my position, it's interesting that we're in this position. We're talking about having a company with 3-year history, and I feel like we've been talking about this for 3 years. So I feel like we're spinning the wheel on the focus. You know, whether it's developing something, starting small and growing, or purchasing something new, or purchasing something that's already there. And then we develop an expertise in that field on the back end. So that's the kind of the back and forth. In general, I mean, me, you, and Brother Malik, we need to really talk about the vision of the overall vision of business. With this, you know, Brother Mason, we talked about this, with this being a long-term goal, planning, so to speak. I don't disagree with it, but you have been clear on the priority in regards to our merchandise, so to speak. So we've got Garvey Day coming up. I do need some, you know, as we move forward with programs and events, I will need some help from a business perspective when it comes to the vendors, when it comes to anything that we're able to provide the day of. You're doing a great job from hosting the business meeting on a regular basis and keeping us focused on the big picture. But as I've said before, I do feel like we're losing some of the small opportunities, and we can't continue that. So we got to diversify our business portfolio.
Yeah, I agree with you, President John. I hear what you're saying. I should say, I hear what you're saying. Um, I guess for me, I'm really thinking about the lifestyle of our people, more than the budget of our division. And I feel like as we think about the lifestyle of our people and are able to provide them a better lifestyle, the budget from our division will grow. I feel like the number one product again is membership. And I feel like we have to continue to refine that product to make it the best possible. And for me, I have to make that the focus because I do believe that's going to grow the UNIA the fastest by having, when the members come in, they have something that they could see that's going to directly affect their lives. Selling a shirt or a product, it doesn't directly affect the member, but helping them with their credit to get to a point where they aren't stressed out about how they're going to pay their bills, I think that does directly affect them. So that's why I believe that this is the approach that's best for our business. And those other ones, they're good to help out the division's bank account. But again, for me, I feel like the focus should be our membership and how we can make, when they do join us, that they'll have something that they can directly have value to their everyday life.
Understand, and I, you know, just say this again, which I've said before, and like I said, I agree with your position, but I must state my position as well. Those other venues, the t-shirts, the flags, those are the things that keep the lights on and have kept the division running since 2009. So I'm just asking us to have a dual focus as we have a long-term focus and a main vision focus. We still got to get the dimes and nickels, you know, for a day-to-day, from a day-to-day basis. They add up. So that's all I got. But other than that, great meeting. You know, great, you know, discussion. And the plan for, as far as when we come back next week, any thoughts as to what the expectation should be?
Next week we'll have the guest from Operation Hope.
Okay.
Hopefully we all can, if you have the time, to reach out early prior and go ahead and get started yourself with that. I believe that what we're doing can be productized. I believe that $99 fee that's there can be pushed by us all. It could be something that we all could have a percentage in getting money for ourselves and for the division. And the goal is to build a wave that people can jump on and feel like that they can see the light in, and to productize what we're doing to make it a product is one of the goals that I'm doing. And I hope that we could all get behind eventually pushing it once we see all the different components. So just wanted to say that as well. As people, the goal for us to get people to join our investors network and join our family going forward.
Understood.
Can I ask
Anybody
a
else
quick
have any questions,
question?
comments?
Can I
Please.
ask? Okay, I just wanted to ask, I'm not sure how to say your name. The young man that was
Omasius.
Omasius, thank you so much. So the investment network that you have, is that like an investment club?
Yes.
Okay,
Basically, yes.
okay.
Yes. Basically,
That,
yes.
that was okay, great.
A group of family pulling their monies together to invest in assets that's going to enhance their quality of life.
Okay. Thank you.
And I hope that people can see the value in that, and that we will be able to share that value with others and make that a revenue tool that could grow us. $99 at a time. Any other questions, comments before we move to close? All right. All right. President John, a motion to move to close.
I agree. I second that. We can move to close.
All right. If there's no unreadiness, we put your right fist in the air. Repeat after me. Unmute your phones if you can, if you're able. One God.
One God.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One
One
destiny.
One
Destiny.
destiny.
Africa.
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 For the Africans.
For
For
the
the
Africans.
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 Those at home
Those at
Those
home.
at home
and those abroad.
and
those
those
abroad.
abroad.
Race first, family.
Race first.
Grace first, family. Peace and love, family.
Hey, so the guy gonna be joining our Zoom?
That's okay. That's okay. That's what I'm trying to see if that's okay.
Oh, I mean,
You kind of late with the objection.
he already be recorded?
Yeah, yes.
All right. That's what I was just thinking. As long as we can record it, we all right.
All right, cool.
Peace.
Peace,
Peace, family.
Peace and love, everyone. See you next week.